Hey guys, I've been looking at a different segment of cards here, sports cards here over the last few weeks. I wanted to get your feedback on just kind of an overall trend that I've been following and that I'm looking into and I'm having fun, a space within sports cards I'm having fun with, but I want to hear kind of your thoughts on it. Stay tuned. Hello to all my sports card collector, investor, all of my collectibles friends out there in the universe. It is Sunday. I hope that everyone is having a really good weekend. Who's ready to go back to work tomorrow? Not me. Not me. I just want to just look at cards, just hang out with my family and just kind of enjoy life a little bit. But what can you do? We are here. We've got to make things happen. So thank you very much for joining me. I've been collecting a certain segment of cards here over the last couple of weeks. I'm just starting to dig into this, but I wanted to kind of come out to my community. As I always say, I learned from you all just as much as people have learned from me over the last couple of years here on the channel. And I wanted to just throw this out there into the universe and get your feedback on it because I just thought it was really interesting. This obviously won't be for everybody, but I just want to, again, learn from you all. And this is something that I was just thinking about, a thought that I had. I would like to hear from you guys. All right, as you know, I was at the National there last week, had an absolute blast, and a couple of the cards that I picked them up not really with this strategy in mind, but just because I thought they were cool cards. One of them was Reggie Jackson auto, numbered to 15. It's an autographed Tier 1 relic, 2018 Topps Tier Baseball. I just don't know a lot about baseball relic cards, auto type stuff. I don't collect a lot of baseball cards, but I decided, you know what? This is an inexpensive way to get a Reggie Jackson Reggie Jackson auto patch. And it's an Angels patch, which I was told that there's not as much Angels stuff as maybe some of the others. So, but I just thought it was a cool card at a price point that was really kind of, it was low. So I thought, you know what? This is awesome. I also picked up a Breeze auto, and I showed this last week again. This was the flawless black box 1 of 1 that I was able to pick up at the show, and I love the card. But one thing that I wanted to, just kind of building off of that, and something that I've been looking at recently, digging more into, is if you look at kind of like the trend lines with what are these big cards, and I watch the same channels that a lot of you do with the high-end sales with Sasha T, Coleman cards, and some of these guys that are selling huge, Jordan autos, LeBron autos, Kobe autos. And so I was thinking to myself, and I actually put this out on Twitter, into the Twitter universe yesterday or the day before, asking people, please give me feedback on if you know of a tool where I can look up autos, basically which players have had, how many auto cards are there for a particular player? I would like to know that. And the reason why is because if I'm buying, Hall of Fame autos, how rare are these? Are they really rare, or is this guy signed a million things, literally? And it's not a bad thing if they've signed a lot of stuff. I mean, if it's, a certain player that you love, you're collecting, nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But for me personally, it'd be nice to know kind of a population report, so to speak, of just a running kind of count of how many cards are out there that are autoed by a particular player. And so Hobby Champs on Twitter, he was, and I'll post up kind of the tweet. He came back to me that Beckett has, as part of Beckett.com, you can go on there and they actually have a tool where you just literally search the player and then scroll down the left side, filter out, and there's auto there. And it'll basically show you kind of where there's an auto or auto on card. And it gives you an idea of how many cards exist that have an autograph on them for a particular player. So you can look up Michael Jordan, or you can look up Kobe, LeBron, or, other players, you could look up Johnny Unitas, or whoever, and see kind of how rare is a signature on card for these players. I thought that was a really kind of fun research assignment for myself because I love the cards. Part of me was always kind of like, man, this stuff is just too expensive. But as I really dug into, I'm a big Larry Bird fan. At the show, I picked up an exquisite shadow box Larry Bird auto that was just a cool looking card. And it falls kind of within the price point that I like to look for. I'm not buying a lot of $1,000 cards. This is kind of at a lower price point. And so, and I was thinking like, how many of them are out there? How many, these cards are so cool. I just want to collect these, and, let's look at other players. So, but I was digging into this a little bit more. And of course, like you watch the Sasha T's, these big deals that are going through, and it's a LeBron auto, whatever, for $100,000, or it's a Kobe auto for $30,000 or $50,000 or whatever it is. And I was thinking, if these guys can get up to 25, 30, 50, $100,000 plus, for these auto mem cards, whatever, exquisite or upper deck or whatever it is, what about some of these other folks? And so, I've been looking into, other players, and not just like, any player, but Hall of Famers, well-known Hall of Famers. I picked up here recently, I picked up a Joe Namath auto. It doesn't have a patch. I'll show it in a video when I actually get it, but it's numbered out of 10 or 15 or something like that, and it wasn't super mega expensive. That's just one example of kind of an all-time great player. But for me, as you know, if you watch my channel, I'm always looking for kind of that downside protection. In other words, like the upside will take care of itself over time, but I don't want to necessarily buy something and then down the line it's worth $1 type thing, which can happen with anything. Of course, nobody can predict the future, but I'm just trying to be smart with these buys that I make. And so that was something, and I wanted to get feedback from you all, especially if you are collecting these auto mem cards, numbered, ideally numbered. Now, they don't necessarily have to be numbered, depending on the player. Maybe it's flawless or something, and it's not a numbered card, but it's a set that's recognizable. National Treasures, it's not numbered, but it's National Treasures. It's a big brand. So I would like to hear from you all if you're collecting these, but also if you're not collecting them, just feedback on why this could be a good idea, why maybe it's not a good idea. But I would just like to hear kind of thoughts around this. Are you buying these? Are you selling these? Are you holding these long term? And for me, these are not flips. And so in other words, I'm not buying, like obviously, like I'm a huge Saints fan, so the Breeze card I'm not looking to flip, but even like the Reggie Jackson, I'm not looking to move that into a trade or something down the line. I just want to hold on to them. I think those are really cool kind of long-term holds. And so I'd just like to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts? Do you think that there's opportunity kind of in those auto patch type cards, or just cool looking autos for Hall of Fame players? And like I said, not necessarily just any Hall of Fame player, but, if we're looking at, the GOATs, obviously, Tom Brady stuff, super expensive. It's in kind of that LeBron, the LeBron, Kobe, Jordan type price range. The Tom Brady stuff is very expensive. But I'm talking about, Breeze is not necessarily, he's not the GOAT, but he's top 15 QB of all time, or like a Johnny Unitas. I threw that out there, but any of these kind of like big time players, or in baseball, you have Reggie Jackson, excellent, amazing player and stuff. Now he might have signed a zillion things, to where it's like, this is not a rare card, and I understand that. And so, but again, using that Beckett tool, trying to figure out, what's more scarce than others. Like, what have players signed? What, do these players have deals still to where they're signing more? Do they not? That's all very interesting to me. So if you happen to be operating in this space, I'd like to hear from you. And if you're not, I wouldn't mind just hearing kind of like why you could be interested, or why, I'm not really interested in collecting in that way. Totally fine. I'm really looking for feedback here, guys. It's something that I'm going to dig into more as far as the research goes, and I will make pickups, for certain players. Again, just certain players that I would collect anyway, where it's like PC item, but then also but it could also be like pretty valuable down the line. And we're talking, 10, 15, 20, 30 years down the line, and so that's where my interests lie. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you again for joining me here today on this beautiful Sunday. Let's have an amazing week ahead. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.